Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Craig here, coming back to you live from the Sasco Sim Studios here in Portage, Indiana. Welcome back. We are Sasco Racing, and we are ready to get back into the shop and take the trucks that we raced last weekend at Martinsville and basically break them down, rebuild them, tear the engines apart. We don't have to do it so much on the backup truck, but on the primary truck, we got to tear the engine down, clean it all out, fix any parts that need to be replaced, repaired or replaced, whichever way it may go. Yeah, so we're going to get to that today. Strip the truck down. The only thing we'll have to do on the backup truck is switch the suspension because we are going from a short track to a 1.5 mile intermediate track. So we are going to have to put different spring setups in the truck for that so that we got the right setup for the right racetrack. We're going from a very slow half-mile racetrack, low banking, to a very high bank, graduated banking actually, so it's lower at the bottom of the turn and then it gets steeper at the top of the turn. So our suspension's got to be right for that. Plus, it's a very high speed, high downforce racetrack, so got to make sure we got everything right. There's my Maximilian, the little mascot for Sasco Racing here. Guys just saw him walk out. So yeah, anyway, nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and jump into it here. So let's clear the Craftsman Truck Series logo, and there you see the shop behind us. We are actually starting off in the break room. We just finished our team meeting here today at Sasco Racing. So yeah, we are ready to get into it and tear these trucks down and get them to where they need to be. So here we go. Come out of the conference room here, a little small. We're a small team, small organization. We don't need anything big and fancy. And we'll go ahead and take our primary truck and move it to Bay 1. There she is, and then we'll take our backup truck and move it to Bay 2. Like I said, there's not much work we need to do on the backup except switch the suspension out. So I think we're going to go ahead and work on that now. Get the truck in the air. This is going to be the easy project here. The other truck we got, the primary truck, we got to completely tear that down. We crashed, wrecked the body, tore up the chassis pretty good. So we got a lot of work to do on that one. Oh yeah, we're going to also do the oil change and everything. Actually, no, we don't really need to. We didn't put, we do have oil in it, you know. So we'll drop all the fluids out of it and put all brand new fluid and everything in it. First, we're going to work on switching out the suspension, though. So all I need is this here. Shock absorber. And everything else is good. Don't need to touch anything on the brakes. Remove this shock absorber. And we'll remove the spring setup on this one. And put all new springs and all new shock absorbers on there for the short track or the intermediate track. We're changing it from the short track suspension to the intermediate track suspension. Come over here and separate the shock absorber from the springs. and go ahead and replace it with the new springs. We'll start on the front here. Oh, no, we don't have that ready yet. We gotta do the rear springs first. Probably didn't even need to take the tires off, but makes things a little easier to work around. Alright. Get these springs back loaded up. New intermediate track springs. And a new intermediate track shock absorber. Now the passenger side, the right side, same thing. Oh, let's do the spring first. And the all new shock absorber. Cool. Rear is complete. Go ahead and get our new spring set up, mounted and put together for the front spring. Okay, there we go. Drain the oil and fluids out of this, replace it. Get it back on. Let's put the tire on. Okay. Good. That's some oil. Levels. Good to go. Alright. This truck's done. Pretty quick and easy. Wasn't much to do to it. It's just a backup truck, so in case we crash during practice or something. So we're going to move this back to the garage bay here. Number 2. Where the semis come in and pull the trucks out to get them to the racetrack. Now this bad boy we are doing a complete overhaul on. We crashed really hard at Martinsville, so we got a lot of work to do on this one. Pulling everything off of this one, rebuilding it from the ground up. Hood off. Take the body off. Some body panels will be have been ordered and delivered to the shop, so we're ready to go. Dang it, meant to go up, not down. Go ahead and drain the oil out. Servo. Pushing coil off. Fuel filter off. Get this engine pulled out. Start engine crane. Move it over to bay 1. Oh wait, I gotta disassemble the transmission and everything first. Do that first. Actually, dang it, let's pull the batteries out so we don't have any electricity flowing through anything. Let's pull the fuel pump out. Header pipes, drive shaft, starter, transmission. Now the clutch assembly. Okay, now we can pull this engine out. Engine is no move. Throw it on the stand. Full carb, there we go. Engine is ready to tear down, so we'll go ahead and start doing that now. Water pump. Leave the timing cover on for now. Start taking apart the carburetor, the intake manifold, and then take the engine heads apart. Then we can take the timing cover off and the ignition distributor. Take that out. That's all hooked up to the camshaft. We gotta take the valves and everything off in order for us to remove that. Engine head cover. Push rods. Timing cover. Timing chain off. Cam gear. Engine distributor. Pull the camshaft out. Put this bad boy upside down. Oil filter off. Move the oil pan. And that brings us to the pistons. Closes all the pistons and the crankshaft. And the hub bearings, or crankshaft bearing cap. And the engine is torn down. Start working on the chassis. First thing we'll do is take the radiator out. So, and then everything else has to be done from the bottom of the truck. So we'll get it back off the ground. We'll start with the fuel cell, get that out. And I guess we'll go ahead and begin with the rear assembly. Moving right along. These bring bolts off. Plates. Rear end is completely torn down. Move to the front. side's done. To the left. Sway bar and the steering rack out. Alright, down to a bare truck. Get the welder out, start welding the repairs in the chassis, and then now you start putting everything together. Actually, let's pull the suspension apart first. Front suspension. A lot of work to do here. I have to completely tear these trucks down. It's a lot of work. Alright, welder out. Bay 1. Detailing box, detailing equipment. Move to Bay 1. First thing we'll do is clean everything off, all the dirt and grime and grease off of it. Weld it. Done. Alright, there she is. Now let's go ahead and start rebuilding the engine. All of our parts are ordered in here. Here we go. What I'm going to do is flip it upside down and get our crankshaft and our pistons, crankshaft bearings in. Go in first to hold it in place. Get our pistons in. V8 engine, so you got 8 pistons, 8 rod caps. camshaft. Now we'll put the engine ignition distributor in. Cam gear on. Timing chain on. Put the timing cover on. Now the timing setup on the truck is completely installed. So now with the camshaft in, the cam gear, all the timing chain and the timing cam gear, and the ignition distributor hooked up to the cam gear or the camshaft, we put the timing cover on, and now we can start installing everything for the engine head, because everything on the engine head is basically consistent of everything that the camshaft does for the truck. So valves, valve springs, push rods, everything is all a part of the camshaft. We'll put the push rods in. Now there's two valves for the V8, or 2 valves per piston for a V8 engine. So that'll be a 16 rocker arms and valves, valve springs, and push rods per side. 8 per side, so that's 16 altogether. Each cylinder piston gets a valve, so the cam gear spins, and they have little nodules on them that make the valve open, which allows fuel and air to go in. And another that one closes, does the full range. The piston does a full range, bottom to top, compressing the air, spark, ignites it, comes back down, valve opens, and it pushes back up to push the exhaust out, and then continues the cycle over and over again. That is basically how your combustion engines work. A lot more technical things to it, but you get the idea. That cover on. The engine head here is all installed. Intake manifold and carburetor installed. Our whole intake setup is our whole intake system will be complete on this engine. While we're working on the chassis, we'll take it to the dyno. Bad boy on, crankshaft pulley, water pump on. Power steering pump, spark plugs and all that will always be the last thing that I end up doing. Steam belts. Done. Over here to the distributor, put the distributor rotor in. Distributor cap. Clips on. Sure they ain't going nowhere. Alright, and I think the only thing we got to do now is put the oil filter, put the exhaust manifolds or engine headers, and then the spark plugs. We'll start with the headers first. Perfect. Actually, we can do everything on this one side at once. Get these spark plugs in. Wires, the oil filter on. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is our 350 cubic inch V8 700 horsepower motor right there. She is a beautiful thing. Beautiful piece of technology, I tell you that much. Alright, let's get it off of here. Mount. Right, I'm ready to be installed in the truck. Chassis welded back together. Everything is cleaned off, cleaned up. Now we go ahead and start installing these suspension, radiator, brake servo, fuel cell, all that good stuff. Transmission. Fuel tank in first. Start with this rear axle. First. Okie dokie. done. In the rear. Work on the left rear. Alright, the rear end assembly and suspension is all put together. Let's get our front shock absorbers and coilover springs built and ready to go. Alright, on the front. Get the sway bar, steering rack, mount it up, front steering knuckle, up there again. While we're back there. Alright. Right front suspension done. Go to this side. Left front. And we'll do the same darn thing. Okay. Bearing in. All the suspension is back together. Fuel cell is in. Drop it, get the radiator and engine in. Actually, we'll put the body around it before we do all of that. We don't need batteries in yet. Yeah, let's work on getting a body on it. There's the truck body, put windshields in. Put on. Actually, we don't need the hood yet. Go ahead and raise it up. Oh, dang it! I had to get the batteries in first. We don't hook them up yet. Alright, that's that. Now we can put the engine in. Things installed here. We gotta put the fuel filter on and the coil, ignition coil. That. Alright, engine's good to go. Gotta put a brake servo in. Get rid of this. Radiator in. That. Tires on. Oh, wait a minute. Can't do that yet. We got to put the transmission in. Your brake derms are shot. You need a new transmission. Start off with clutch assembly, flywheel, clutch plate, clutch pressure plate, and then the clutch bearing will be next. Finally, the final part of it. Clutch release bearing. Now we can install the transmission, gearbox, aka gearbox transmission, whatever we want to call it. Starter on. Drive shaft. Header pipes on. Now we'll get the tires on, she's good to go. Inside the roof flap. I gotta get a roof flap on there. And then we gotta put the oil in too. Get the oil. Okay, lowered her down to the ground. Get a roof flap on. Good. Oil. Perfect. Ready to roll. The list is complete. I have an oil filter in. I thought I put one on. Damn, we're just dumping oil because I ain't. Oh well, I screwed that up in this game. You can't put oil in the engine without an oil filter. No fuel. Oh, I gotta put a fuel pump in too. Yee. Okay, so that's all I need is a fuel pump. And then I gotta come back to the engine. I forgot to put the round plate on for the air filter. Now, put the air filter over it. Oh, so the air goes through here into this. It cleans it. Shoots the air down into the carburetor, which goes into the intake manifold, down into the cylinders, where the fuel and air mixture ignite when the spark plug goes off. Close the hood, and this bad boy is done. Checklist is good to go. Move the car over to garage bay 1. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Trucks are ready to go. We are going to load them up in the semi and get out Kansas Speedway. With that now, so let's go over here. That real quick. Move some things around so I can be face to face and talk to you folks. All right, there we go. The trucks are overhauled and torn down completely on the primary truck, and did a complete overhaul. Welded the chassis, cleaned up all of the grease, grime, debris, tire rubber, all the crap off of the truck with the detail kit, and then we pulled the engine out, drained the fluids, pulled the engine, pulled the transmission, pulled the drive shaft transmission, header, tailpipes, transmission, starter, and then the clutch assembly. Pulled the motor out, broke the motor down, went back to the truck, pulled all of the front and rear suspension and steering housing, all of the assembly, axle housing, all that good stuff, all completely torn down, and new parts were shipped to us. All the parts were replaced with brand new parts. Threw the engine back, rebuilt the motor, all brand new parts, threw the engine back in, threw the radiator in, threw the brake servo in, filled it up with fluids, got the body on it. We are good to go. So we'll see you out at the virtual Kansas Speedway for the, what's it called? Hang on 1 second, actually. Why can't I remember what it is? Hang on, I gotta... something. Heart of America 200. That's where we're going to be next. So we'll see you at the Kansas Speedway for the Heart of America 200 at Kansas in Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas Speedway. It's a lot of Kansas in there. But yeah, anyway, ready to rock and roll, get some racing done tonight. We're going to go ahead and jump once we get to the track, jumping right into practice and qualifying, and then go racing. So 134 laps. It'll be a day-to-night transition race tonight at Kansas. So enjoy. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors. Sasco Racing YouTube channel. If you like what you're seeing, that's our primary sponsor on the truck. So you'll see it out there. Sasco Racing YouTube channel. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. And we greatly appreciate everybody who does. We don't have too big of a following. We're a small channel right now, but that's cool. We got a nice tight-knit community we're building up, and just grateful to have all of you guys on board through the beginning process of all this. There's actually one thing I need to see here on my OBS to make sure it's good. Audio, yes, okay, we are good. Again, the sponsors: Sasco Racing YouTube channel, Pepsi Cola, GAF, shingles and roofing accessories, Reliance Restoration, ABC Supply Company, Valvoline, just anybody on the truck that supports us, Logitech, and their steering wheel and pedal setup that they create. Just grateful for all the sponsors, grateful for all of you who are the spectators and jump on here and watch us every week. So hope you're enjoying the show. We'll catch you all out in Kansas here in just a little bit. Enjoy the rest of your